Hi, Collective. Welcome to the Power of Three. My name's Amber. And this is the first time ever that I will be doing a reading like this. And it's, as you saw in the title, it's uh, a reading on a missing child. And I said in the last video, I announced that I was going to be doing this. There's two particular crimes that I want to look at, but we're just going to focus on the one today. It's the one I've been following the longest. Now, you may not be familiar with the case, and if you're not, then maybe you want to go and check out. It's about a little girl. Her name was Summer Wells. She lived in America. I've been racking my brain, and I didn't want to look it up. I don't know why. I'm just being stubborn. But anyway, she lives somewhere in mid-America there. I strongly suggest if you're not aware her and the situation that you kind of go and look up some information on it and then come back and watch this video. I have no idea how this is going to go, but we're not looking to solve crimes in the way of doing anything. This is all alleged. Anything that comes out in this reading or any readings we do in the future will be alleged and for entertainment purposes, but like for our sanity, for those of us that follow these cases and really truly in the depths of our being wonder where this child is and what happened. The why, sure. Why does this happen? People ask themselves all kinds of questions, but at the end of the day, with evidence and focusing on who you think did what, where is the child? So again, I'm not going to say that doing this and we're doing that because I can't even figure out what deck to start with the main spread. I mean, and I wish that kind of we were live because I, I really feel like this is like an interacting kind of a thing. No, I'm not live, but I strongly ask that you feel free to comment your thoughts on this case and feel free to put any other cases in the comments of this video that you would like to look into. We're going to start obviously with the Holy Spirit, as always, just to get a, a, a good base on the Thou shalt love the Lord with all your God, with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. See, I knew it. And this, I'm going to tell you right now, there's an extra deck here for reading for extra energy on the overall, and it's the biblical tarot because I had a feeling yesterday when I put these decks out. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? Whenever these decks got sitting here for one, I can't even remember if it's 2 nights now. I think 2 nights. The biblical tarot was pulled because it was already in my brain that, what at these moments in whatever happens makes people think or motivates them that they have the right to do whatever it is they're about to do. All right, let's just see now what comes out for an overall energy. We're using I'll show you the book, the deck. I know you've seen this deck a million times. It's called Energy Oracle Cards. Okay. Overall energy on the case of Summer Wells and how she went missing. Now, I would like to point out that both these cases that we're looking into, these kids were at home when they went missing. Okay. So it might be a little more difficult to, what should I say, get the fine details because I want to say to start off with, there has always been something. And again, if you've followed this case as well, you know what I'm talking about. In all the pictures that they show of Summer, there's one that has just eaten my guts alive since I saw it. And bearing in mind, this case is several years old now, but there's one picture of Summer, and she's in a dress dancing around in like mud. and behind her, and there's nothing else. Like they lived in a kind of like up in like a mountainous kind of area. So I don't know whether it was, I don't want to say Arkansas, but it's kind of around that area. Okay, I want to say. I could look it up, but I feel like again, you're either familiar with it and you already know and you're screaming it at the screen at me, or make note of that. Anyway, see, I just got completely knocked off what I was saying. It's on purpose. I just feel like I felt like an energy come at me and literally bully me over, like so that I would forget what I was saying. Because I don't generally do that ever in any readings I do. Um, oh, all right, yeah. So this picture of Summer, um, she's dancing around in the mud, and there's nothing behind her but the like, like a their driveway, which is like a muddy. It just kind of, it's kind of, there's like vehicles sitting around, but I don't think you see that in that. All you see behind her is a barrel behind her, one of those big barrels, metal barrel, and it says for sale on the front of it behind her. That is eating my guts since I saw it. Let's see what comes out for an overall energy. I see now. Everybody has already suspected the family because the story's so bogus, right? Again, allegedly, no jury or anything here. It's just what I'm saying that people have their own thoughts about this. We have magicians in the mirror. So, yeah, for me, and again, you guys can read this too, however you see it, but I see a magician in the mirror. That's somebody that is in that house that has to look at themselves every day in the mirror because they know they made happen, whatever happened, because kids do not go missing out of their own houses. So obviously right away, we're being told right at the get-go that this was orchestrated. And I'm almost certain that's why I was forced to remember to tell you about the for sale sign behind her in the picture before that came out. So I mean, I mean, I'm just feeling like a heavy force coming on me right now because we already know the answer to the question before we even get started. So I guess we're no, we're not. Um, because what I want to look into is where actually Summer is. Okay. Um, I'm pretty sure I already know that too, but I don't want to say. Uh, and I'm not saying that she is expired either, but we should probably look into this in a more general way because what people don't realize is that it's not just a bad guy running around. There's a whole industry with the government in it. So that's why it just seems to never you never find the kid and you never hardly ever do you find the kid and hardly ever do you get an answer to what happened. We could even go back to as far as Jean Bonnet because that one has eaten my guts alive too. Again, only we know how she was found, but again, in her own home, but yet everybody's questioning everybody outside the home. Like, seriously. Supporting energy is coming from the sign of the times, and it's not like a right relationships. Mm. But we know that a knot can be a good thing or it can be a bad thing. Like if you put a knot on the end of your like this, okay? See, I have a knot in mine. So that's so that it doesn't come out. But what they're saying is that this is a very loose knot. It's not, see how mine is like it's been pulled tight because I don't want it to come undone. But this one hasn't been pulled tight. There's a big old hole. It just tells me that there was a purposeful. See, I like my hoodie and I want the string to stay in it, and I don't want it to get away, so I protect it by putting a knot in it. But there was no protection here. This is what I'm saying. Like, I'm sorry to come flat out saying, but we're only in the beginning of this reading, and it's clear as crystal that it was an inside job. Okay, um, allegedly. Okay. So we're gonna grab the biblical tarot here now, because people like to always lean on, oh God, when these things happen, and sometimes a lot of these bad things are done in the name of, and that's why this is here. That's why I said, what is it that and empowers people to and people say, well, the devil. Well, yeah, but it's like again, let's ask ourselves if that's all the truth, what we're told. My big question, I'm just being honest with you. My big question is if the devil tried to overtake God in heaven and got thrown out as the disgusting piece of crap that he is, right? Why does God spend so much time with him? Why is it that it seems like the devil can constantly be running up to God saying, challenging him and this and why? If God's so all powerful, you know what I'm saying? Like these are the questions that started going through my head, and then it started feeling like we were just pawns on a board. Like I could almost feel, okay, now this is before I got to where I'm actually at now. Okay, there isn't two of them, all right? There isn't God and the devil. It's one and the same. And that's what Jesus came here to tell us. But that all got hijacked and kiboshed, just like anything else that's out there, anything buried is the truth. Okay. I don't want you to know the truth. And if you haven't lived in these times and learned that by now, just from the authorities that be over us in the 3D, just know it's freaking a million times, can't even count the number worse in the spiritual realm. So let's see what comes out of this for a note for just to support our overall and supporting energy of the motivation, we'll call it. What was the motivation? Yes, I hear you, budgies. I love you. Yes, you're good. Yes. All right, what did we get? Oh, what a coinky dink. Hmm. What they say is the root of all evil, but it's not. It's not the money. It's the Ten of Pentacles, right? Right. There's so much. When I say there's so much, is because it's what its foundation. This world was not created by a loving, wonderful God. It's built and founded on evil. That's why it runs so rampant, just like that river there. It just snakes through everything. Okay, and money was the motivation. So let's see what comes out now. We're using I'll show you the deck. It's called the Double Major Tarot deck. So there's two of everything in this deck, and one is the normal average energy that you're used to seeing, and the other is not. So you'll see what I mean when it comes out. So let's see. And of course, we don't know anybody's signs or anything like that, but obviously the Empress will be the mom, the Emperor will be the dad, even though he's not an emperor. Okay. Um, Yeah, let's just see what comes out. Because, like I say, I've never done this before, so I'm not even really sure. We'll just wing it, I guess. Again, feel free, guys, to comment if you have any suggestions, anything like that. I would appreciate it. And also, if you like this content, please remember to hit the like button. What do we got first? The King of Cups. The King of Cups. Right off the, and I know I just said the Emperor would be the dad, but that's probably that's why I kind of was like, we know he's not an emperor, but maybe we'll just leave that out for now. We just won't worry about that. We'll just see what comes out. King of Cups, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Now, the King of Cups is emotional. I'm picking up on the dad with this King of Cups. Okay? Picking up on the dad of Summer Wells. So let's keep going and just see what else comes out. Because, like I say, I've never done this before. There's kind of a reading, even. So, Page of Pentacles. So, this is, we know that Summer had three brothers. And I think that the parents, it's like somebody's bending over backwards. Like, this is very awkward. This page is I feel like one of the brothers acts out a lot and demands a lot of time and attention and is not grounded very well. Um, you know what I mean? Like, troublemaker. Hmm. I don't know which one. I don't know. Maybe it's representing all of them. I don't know. Let's just keep going. Or, no, why did I automatically go to the boys and not her? Why did I do that? That's weird. This page is or is this her? Maybe she was a little different, not not grounded. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I kind of picked that up on her. Like, not there's anything wrong, but you know how some people are just so like kind of like a crazy energy in a happy, good kid way, right? To the point where she would, you know, stand on her head if that's what it took to get attention. That's what this is. That's what this is. Why did I go immediately to her brothers? Because I think there was competition for attention somehow between those boys and her. Tried to be like them. I know that. I know she was very tomboyish. What else we got? Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune. So that's also interesting. Um, but I feel like this Wheel of Fortune is where whatever was set to happen happened. Um, let's just see what's at the bottom. Mm. It's the Page of Wands, but it's not the normal one. It's like, or there's a message. This is, see how he's poking his staff, like right at, coming at somebody. Also a page energy. I feel like this is her energy coming out that she had to constantly, like, I feel like she was a going concern and would stand on her head to be the center of attention, possibly, or kind of fighting like for attention or to be part of the three. She had three brothers, but this is very like both of these are the odd cards. You know what I mean? This is not the normal page of top, and this is page of pentacles, and this is not the normal page of wands. This is being like this is like forceful, but it's page energy. And like I said, our overall energy here is money. Now, I know from the history of, watching the videos and learning about the family and Queen of Pentacles is behind that. Okay, money. And look at this. There's the normal page. And there's the page that came out. Uh, let's see. Let's just see what comes out. These are doubled up. I'm just gonna show you how big this is. This is the who and the where together. Okay. Um, let's just see what comes out just for fun. Because I'm not even, I don't know if this is going to be helpful or not. Because, again, this is the, what's wrong? Earth, I hear you. Please be good. Jackie, you be good. Buggies, I hear ya. I hear you and I love you. Okay. Okay, you be good. Quiet down now. You're going to listen to me. Park and scorching lands. Hmm, I know. All right, let's see what comes out of this King of Cups, which is one already profusely poking out the sea, ocean waves, and seaside. Coming out under the King of Cups, which is what? Emotions, which is what the water represents. Um, I feel like there was a lot of emotion from the dad for stuff. Okay, let's see what comes out under this odd page of pentacles. See if we can. Uh-oh. Lake, tranquil waters, and reflections. Now there was right before she went home and disappeared, they were at a lake swimming. Okay. Um, you know, portrayed as her having fun and blah 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 blah. Interesting. And then the sea here and lake. That's interesting. Because remember, we are trying to find out where she is, right? What happened to her? Let's see what comes out under the Wheel of Fortune. Revolutionist, champion of transformation, freedom fighter, pursuer of welfare, justice. But I think that this is us as the collective, the community, the people that really don't have the answers that want. Is the universe going to shift and finally, it kind of reminds me of like Ichigumi that don't, if people go missing in a certain time in March where there's like what do they call it? The Ides of March, where it's just like a bad storm. Um, it- Something happens. I don't know what it is, but they say this lake doesn't give up their dead, right? If you disappear at that time, it's weird. Let's see if I can get this turned over without spilling in. What's at the bottom is coffee house. Coffee, tea, artisanal brews, pastry, indulgence. I feel like, again, don't forget we've got money as the motivation to talk here, just to let that make arrangements, like I say, for sale behind her. We've got this large knot, this large opening, whereas like this, if I didn't do this up right, it would get away on me. So it's like leaving the back door open so somebody can get in. You follow me? It's like that. All right. So this is the True Crime Oracle cards. It took a week to get here. So let's see what comes out. Now we've only got Dad out here so far, and the um, the page energy. So whether that's her, I don't know if it's her or not. I don't know whether it's her brothers. We know she had three brothers, but Mom isn't out here. Hmm. Let's see. We're gonna put one of these on even the overall for Summer Wells. And again, if you want to continue on this case, and we're also going to look into a case up here that happened in Canada. I'm in Canada. Um, Again, Summer Wells is in Mid-America somewhere. I just forget the exact place. Let's see what comes out now on the Magician in the Mirror, not relationships. And you see, I think that's why that's here because, whether Dad, I don't, maybe Dad doesn't know what happened. Maybe only the mother knows. And that's why there's so much emotion here from the dad because maybe he didn't know. Anything is possible when, especially when you're dealing with crap like this. If somebody's going to do something bad, you can't say, well, yeah, but they wouldn't do that. No, yeah, they would. So if this was orchestrated behind the dad's back, okay, okay, we have to clarify this overall energy of the magician and the knot and the money. We have landfill and revenge. Landfill and revenge. Somebody within that household was taking revenge. Is she in the landfill? Possibly. Uh, You don't know. And when I say that this motivation was over money, it doesn't necessarily mean that um, they got money from somebody. They could have. She could have. Whoever's in that house, right? Allegedly. But this could also be just in general, it could have been like costing too much to have like she was the youngest. So, and there was also, again, if you followed the case and got to know the individuals and the things about them, apparently the mother wasn't like she liked the boys, and she was insecure about having. And this is allegedly what I watched and heard myself on a video, but about her not being crazy about having a girl because then the focus is taken off of her. You follow me? And people are, everybody's different. So for whatever reason, people don't want to have a boy or a girl. She had three boys, and then the fourth one ended up being a girl. So, um, I, I so it could have if they weren't given money for this sale, which seemingly could be a possibility. Again, go watch anything you can on the case, but it could have just been about the state of being where they were at and how much easier it would be less one kind of thing. Again, we don't know for sure. Okay, let's see what comes out with this the sea and under the King of Cups, which I believe is the father or his energy. Aliens. This, you see how there's three boys there? How odd is that? I feel like the mother was just these were her boys. You know what I mean? And she just wasn't crazy about having the girl. But the dad was. That's why he's here in the reading here, right? That's what we're clarifying. I feel like the boys, once she came along, were alienated from their dad somewhat. And maybe mom didn't like that. Maybe there was just a whole slew of reasons in her mind. Again, take a look at this. Maybe there was just a whole big old sky full of reasons, you know, God wouldn't have put these things on her heart if there wasn't maybe something to be done about it. You know what I mean? Again, what motivates people to do the things they do, I'm not even going to begin to try and figure out here right now. Let's see what comes out with the lake under the Page of Pentacles. I feel like what they're saying is that time at the lake maybe were like it was done to make it look the opposite of what was going on, allegedly. So we've got lake and see suicide. Now, sometimes things are planned to look like, see what I'm saying? And I think that's the point of this. There was no suicide. But the point of this is how many cases have you known where it was made to look like suicide, and yet you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that that person wouldn't do that. So that's the point of this suicide. They're saying coming out is to let you know that this lake and the Page of Pentacles in a weird form was made to look for things to look the opposite of what they were, which is exactly, look, they want me to get this so that you can see the opposite. Opposite. So that whole scene about going to the lake and having a good time, and but it was just all part of what was going to happen. Fortunately, that's what's coming out here. Uh, how'd that happen? That's interesting. How'd they get turned over? Okay. Revolutionist under the Wheel of Fortune. This ought to be interesting. Well, there we go. Oh my God. I don't even want to say anything. What is there to say, right? He's out here. I, yeah, 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 yeah. And there's a slash, spouse, partner. That slash there, and it's underneath. This whole vibe is like this was orchestrated, and it was orchestrated, unfortunately, allegedly by the mom. And the dad really doesn't know what the fuck is going on. That's what I'm getting. Look at this. You can't make this shit up. Bottom of the deck. Man-made disaster. If whatever wasn't orchestrated to happen that day, it would have been a normal fine day and she would be fine and still there living her life and growing up. But like I said at the beginning of this reading, you don't have your little girl dancing around in front of a fucking barrel, sorry about my language, that says for sale on it. I know I wouldn't personally. Now, whether your head's up your ass that you don't realize, but you I really don't, I'm not picking that up. So we are going to get some more clarity, we're going to call it. It's usually advice in a normal reading that would be for you, but because this is about Summer Wells and trying to find out why this happened to her or where she is, which it doesn't look like we're getting that where she is, although we could dig a little deeper. I don't know. This is already 35 minutes, so we could do another one about specifically where she might be at this time. Um, now that we've got like a baseline here, right? So we're using the Sun Tarot, so let's shuffle it and see what comes out for more clarity on this part of it. For entertainment, allegedly. Now, I'm not going to do the overall, I'm going to do revenge and landfill. Okay, let's see what comes out for clarity on that. Clarify revenge and landfill, please. Appreciation. You see that cornucopia there? Um, I just feel like the motivation again was like they're saying money, whether it was gaining money from a sale or just things getting a whole lot better, not having to uh provide. It's also the number 5, which is change. Okay, one jumped out for the middle one, and it's so we'll just leave it till we get there. But it was very obvious and very precise on where it landed, so we'll leave it. Excuse me. Let's get one on aliens with the look at he really doesn't know. I really think that the dad is been lied to and really is not sure what went on. And if he knows now, he didn't know beforehand. You know what I mean? Seduction under suicide. See, this is this all that played out right before that little girl went missing was all to seduce everybody into not knowing what the fuck happened. And that's pretty much the way it went. So somebody, you know, thought this through or knew what they were doing. Spouse or partner, please. Principal. I bring us back to this biblical card once again. On this deck. Excitement. Yeah, but it wasn't a good excitement. But and vision. See, somebody had this all worked out. Look, vision is behind that, and manipulation and restlessness behind that. Somebody had this vision and manipulated the whole thing the way it went, and even the circumstances around it, so people wouldn't know whether their ass was border or punch. So, yeah, again, and just reminding you or whatever, this is alleged. So it's just what's coming out in the reading, and anybody that's here is just here for their own sanity of wondering what's going to come out to clarify what the heck happened. Because at the end of the day, for us, it's about what happened to the little girl, what happened to Summer Wells. Yeah. So for whatever reason, we started with her, but again, there's a case up here in Canada that's much. It's not as old, but different, little different circumstances. But again, the kids went missing from their home, and the parents were there. So at least with Summer, it's just it's a little older of a case, and I've been following it for a long time, and I guess that's pretty much where my heart lies right now. So did I bring a closer? I don't know if I did or not. I guess I didn't because I've never done a reading like this before. And guys, I really hope that you will put in the comments whether you enjoy this content and anything that you want to add to this or thoughts that you have or want to look into. But I would like to dig into this further, so I'm going to. I'm not going to leave it up to you guys. I'm going to dig into this from here on in a part two. Um, Kind of focusing more on actually where she went, what actually happened to her. I mean, not physical uncomfortable details, no, but just in a general way. Where is she? That kind of thing. Is she still with us? Was she just sold off to another family so fucking far away that nobody would ever put two and two together? I basically just want to know whether she's alive or not, and just kind of, yeah. So again, please, I hope that you will interact. Hit the like button if you did enjoy this content and would like to see more. And remember that it's alleged for entertainment only at the end of the day and just for our sanity. So guys, I'm gonna kibosh it there. It's been 42 minutes. I don't want it to be too long. So take care of yourself until I'm back for another one. Bye for now.